iron in the soul.
What's up, YouTube? This is Iron and Soul. Back today with another very important message. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video, share this video, leave a comment, let me know what you think about my content. Also, in addition to that, please feel free to follow me over on Instagram at The King Jabez, as well as look at my website, theironandsoul.com. If you'd like to book a consultation and get my book, Becoming Strong as Iron, it will be greatly appreciated. Well, man, let's do some work. Let's talk about seed retention and how seed retention can lead to power and wealth. I'm using the key word here, can, C-A-N. In other words, it's not a guarantee. You, of course, have a lot to do with that. But we're going to talk about, for a number of reasons, why this practice can be very helpful, I would believe, any man's journey towards gaining power, whether that be through physical strength for you guys who are into the weight room, whether that be through position of influence at work, whether it be creating your own business, and then, of course, wealth. We live in a world where people judge you based on your tax bracket, and that's not fair. I believe personally that people's worth is more than what you have in your bank account, and what you get paid every 2 weeks or every week or every month for that matter. But unfortunately, in the world we live in, people judge you on those things. And in fact, the scripture is clear on even that. Man judges the outward appearance. So people look at your disposition, your height, your weight, the clothes you wear, the type of car you drive, and it's such a, in my opinion, superficial level of what a person is and who he is in terms of the depths of a person's soul, their spirit, their mind, their strengths and weaknesses. There's so many layers to a human being, right? We are created as a spirit, soul, and a body. But unfortunately, in our world, is often, marginalized to just the very basic superficial. People see you and they make this generalized, superficial, often off assessment of who you are without knowing anything about you. So with that being said, without going into a rant about that, human nature, right, and how people are, let's talk about retention and how this can lead you towards your path and journey of power and wealth. It has been my experience that retention kind of brings these good omens into your life. You know what I mean? It kind of brings, I don't want to say good luck, but it brings favor your way. It's like, I don't know how to really quite explain it or articulate it, but things start falling in line. Opportunities come. You can look at your phone one day, there's that phone call. There's an opportunity you've been waiting for. So it's something about a man being disciplined enough to do this, which is extremely difficult. Which is why most guys don't. It's not easy to do. When you're talking about retaining your seed for a significant amount of time, we're talking, let's just say, beginner level 3 to 6 months. That's not easy to do. So when you have the will, the mental clarity, the drive, the focus to do that, you're focused. Man, you mean business. And that has a way of bringing favor your way. And it'll come across in how you talk to people. You will be more confident within social settings. You will have a better opinion of yourself. Because I do believe that respect starts with self-respect. When you respect yourself, people can see that. And there are some who will try to challenge that and, kind of, for lack of a better word, treat you like, okay, you're not all that. Who do you think you are? You're going to run into that too. But even with that, they're still gauging and seeing that, okay, this person does respect themselves. And this person has confidence in themselves. And a man or woman who doesn't have that will struggle when they see that you do. And then on the flip side of that coin, there'll be others who, admire that and respect that about you, and who will want to talk to you, who will want to be around you. And so for a number of reasons, this practice can bring good favor your way. Opportunities, open doors. Even sometimes just when you're meeting people and carrying yourself well in a social interaction, which is really just an exchange of energy between two people, that can be, when done right, that can help to create some business connections. I mean, I think about even just, being at the right place at the right time. I'll give you an example of this, Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace. By the way, the man who was found guilty of killing him, I believe he got sentenced to, 60 years this week or something like that. Definitely got found guilty. But Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace, before he passed away, he was at a Lakers game. And I forget the man's name. He was a businessman. They were at the game. At first, guys kind of just watch the game, not knowing each other. You kind of go out your way. And he said that eventually, halfway to the game, they got a little more relaxed. They started kind of just chopping it up, having a conversation. And from that small conversation at a Lakers game, Nipsey was able to get put on some more game concerning business. This guy gave him a call, gave him some business advice and whatnot, and Nipsey learned some stuff and was able to add another layer to his marathon brand. So, and by the way, Nipsey also someone who I believe practiced retention. He talks about it, when it was an interview. I don't know if it was on a hip hop podcast or what it was, but it was, the clips circulating online, Nipsey talking about this, The Way of the Superior Man. And he was saying he read that book. He just said, you know what, I'm not perfect. I'm human. I indulge, but he said he heard that prize fighters often, before a fight or will go on a period of being celibate. You guys who are in the retention community know about that through people like Mike Tyson, through people like Muhammad Ali, through people like Manny over there in the Philippines. He is a Philippine boxer. I think he would call it a 3-week no wife policy. So he would go on 3 weeks of retention prior to a fight. David Haye, I think is a UK fighter, will go on 6 weeks of retention, 42 days, where he prepared himself for a fight. I've heard Anthony Joshua talk about this. I've heard Lennox Lewis talk about this, Mike Tyson, Ali, Mayweather. And so all of these men and so many others, UFC fighters and boxers who know that, when I'm about to get into a ring and compete at that level with another man who's trained, who's skilled, knows what he's doing, this can give me an edge. And so Nipsey was saying that, I'm entering this championship fight type of level in my life. I thought that was a cool parallel. And so, like Nipsey and like yourself, maybe you're like Nipsey right now, and you kind of feel like you're heading towards this fight in your life, and, Brother Iron, to be a little transparent with you guys, I feel like right now I'm going through a spiritual fight, and I've been fighting with you guys. In fact, today is day 29, by the way, of uploading each day. I did a short yesterday, and prior to that, I think we're right now at a total of 30 videos, 29 videos and one short over the course of 29 days, and the 30-day series will end tomorrow. And so I've been consistent. And so I feel like I'm at a point now in my life where, of course, this is my thinking, God knows best. I'm entering into this fight season for the next 6 months, in my mind's eye, from about, let's just say, March to about August. And it's time for me to make another shift. Our life is full of shifts, guys. You think about building power and wealth, we're talking about shifts, going to the next level. And so that journey began for me at 20, where I had to keep going to each levels. It never ends. And I found myself now at another point in my life where it's clear to me and to my wife and my family, it's time for another shift. You follow? And so with that shift, this practice of retention has been something that has worked miracles in my life, for years. And so I'm in a place now where I feel like I'm in a I guess you could say, really say, championship fighting level of my life, where it's time for me to knock out some enemies, not men or women, but spiritually speaking, it's time for me to knock down some devils that have been coming after me for a while. You know what I mean? And to do that, that's going to require focus. That's going to require determination, desire. And this is something that you kind of tap into while on retention. While you're doing this, you're more apt to, practice things like cold showers, getting up early in the morning. I want to encourage you guys to rise up early if you can. If you work a second shift job or third shift, then that may be impossible. But if you are able to, it's something special about getting up between, let's just say, for example, 3 and 7 a.m. Let's say 7:30 the latest. Somebody get up between 3 a.m., 7:30 a.m. Some guys get up at 3. Some guys get up at 4 or 5. You have others who are in that 6 o'clock club, 7 o'clock. There's something about that discipline that really helps you get your day going. And then, going from that to a workout, a run or a walk, whatever it may be, get on a bike, however you like to exercise. Something about starting your day by getting up early, having a cold shower. And I'm not saying I do this every day, because I don't do it every day, but, from time to time. And some of you will do it every day, that's fine, but I don't. And, kind of just getting yourself ready physically. All this is gearing you towards building up what? A powerful presence, right? Your disposition, how people see and view you when you're in their presence. When you're in retention, you think about your plans, your goals, your future. Those words I've used before to begin with the letter F: your future, your family, your finances, and your faith. You tend to lock in with those when you're retaining. Faith, you're more in tune with God in the spirit realm. This will manifest through, you guys have experienced this, by the way, probably as I have, vivid dreams. Your prayer life is, what would be a proper word? You find it easier to pray, and you find it easier to hear from God because your spirit is pure. That's been my experience, so it's been your experience too. You have the energy you need to work, of course. You have the drive, and you got to want something. That's something that even the book Think and Grow Rich talks about, desire. I think it's the first chapter, if I'm not mistaken. I'm reading through right now. I got about 20 pages left, and I'll finally be done. Thank God. I've been putting the book off. I laugh about this. I should have been read it, maybe a few years ago. But you know what? Time is everything. And you know what? Now that I think about that, you know what? No, I shouldn't have. There's a time for everything. This was the right time in my life to read this. So I'll leave that there. Sometimes we think we know better than what it really is. There are times where it's just not time yet. And so it kind of is now I'm speaking from the heart now, even with this whole idea of retention. Your timing kind of gets better with stuff, right? You kind of have a way of being at the right place at the right time, making better decisions, having this higher thought quality. Some would say higher vibration, or from a biblical perspective, you're in the spirit versus the flesh. From others' perspective, you're in your higher self versus your lower self. And so when you're doing that, things tend to work out. You kind of have clear vision as to what to do next. So, all of that will naturally lead to what? Accumulating resources, wealth. Now, does this mean you're going to become wealthy within the next 6 months? That's possible, but probably not in all cases. Will it happen in 1 year? Probably not. Maybe not even 2 or 3. But I think this will help to get you on that journey. Where honestly, even if you're not wealthy per se, you will be better off in a better financial position, I believe. 1 to 4 years from now, I'll give you kind of a vision. I like to give people time to grow. Than you are right now. You definitely will be better off than the guy that's on his phone, looking at corn every day. Because if you're doing that, you're distracted. Your mind is off. And that's not going to be helpful in your journey of building power and wealth. Mr. Steve Jobs was a practitioner of retention. And from my research study of his life, not I read a biography, nothing like that, but just what I read about him concerning this, he retained his seed or energy, life force, for the purpose of building up power to accumulate wealth and power. He understood that energy, sex energy, will be helpful in his work ethic. And you guys, you can comment in the comment section, you guys who have practiced retention, your workouts have gotten better. I'm sure you guys can identify with that. You're more focused at work. I've had some guys tell me that through emails, whatnot. By the way, feel free to email me as well. You can contact me through email, my website, or even comment here. There are many ways you can contact with me, or even IG. So yeah, throw that out there too. If you want to contact me, you got IG, you got email, you got this, as well as my website. So a lot of guys connect with me on a pretty consistent basis, as you would assume with a channel like this. And one of the guys said, man, we would start retaining. His mind was just so sharp. And he worked in an office type job, like business setting. And I think he said he was working on some Excel spreadsheets. And he says when he's doing it, when he's on retention, his mind's just flowing, working like clockworks. And we know from those of us who are educated in this discipline, as you guys are, some of you may be, some of you may not be, when you retain, literally you will nourish your brain. I believe, again, it's not because you guys, man, you science guys, it's not direct science and all that type of stuff. I know my experience. I know the experience of hundreds, matter of fact, thousands of other guys from reading about it online. What happens is your body essentially, after a few weeks, reabsorbs your semen. I'm going to just say it flat out. And what that does is it will stabilize or strengthen your nervous system, which would explain why you're more poised, right? You're calmer. You just have this chill vibe. Even though you got all this energy in you, you're calm. You're poised. It's the old saying, cool, calm, and collect, my boy. Right? A man should be cool, calm, and collect. You know, there's a time to turn up and get angry and get aggressive. There's a time for that. But for the most part, we should be cool, calm, and collected. And retention helps you to do that. Why? Because you are strengthening your nervous system. Okay, that's biology. That's the way we're created. That was God's design and plan. So that tells me that God, obviously, who has infinite intelligence, he wanted men to be stewards or wise with their seed. I really believe that. If not, he wouldn't design for your body to reabsorb it after 2 weeks, right? I mean, it's just I'm a Bible guy, so I see it that way. I believe in God, so okay, if God created me, then He had that in mind, that we should not be just spilling our seed aimlessly. Now, if you're trying to conceive and have a child with your wife, then that's one thing. That's not wasting your seed. That's using it for what it's for. So we're not talking about that. You're using it for the right reason. But when you're just wasting it, then that's an issue. Using your seed to bring a boy or girl to the world, that's the purpose of it. That's why it's called a seed, right? And the plant or the tree is the human. I know that I'm not saying I'm a philosopher, but that kind of sounds a little philosophical, actually. It's pretty cool in my opinion. Not bad for iron soul. And that's why it's called a seed. It has a purpose. You don't just waste seed, right? Am I right, guys? So when you hold on to that seed, when you're not using it to put it into a woman to bring a child into this earth, you literally use that seed to better yourself, to strengthen your nervous system. And get back to my original thought before I got into all of that, to strengthen your mind. The seed will eventually travel up the spine, and it will nourish the brain, literally. And this will explain why you have mental clarity, clearer thoughts. You're more focused. Some guys become more charismatic. If you're already charismatic, you're going to be even more charismatic. If you're already intelligent, it's going to help you to even heighten that. So it's not saying this is going to make you something that you're not. You probably won't become a world-class boxer if you can't fight. But if you can, it's going to help you. You probably won't become the next Steve Jobs if you're not a businessman. You follow me? So I'm not saying that this is some type of magic trick. This will only enhance what the Most High has already put in you. That makes sense? So my belief is based on 1 Corinthians 7 and verse 7, where it says that each man has his own proper gift from God. So you have men who were gifted athletically, like Muhammad Ali, Tyson, David Hay, LeBron James, the other practitioners. You have musicians like Prince. You have those who are in business, such as Steve Jobs and others. And then you have Elon Musk. He might even practice when he's younger. Who knows? I don't know. And then you have creative people, geniuses like Nikola Tesla, who was a lifetime celibate. And so we see that, retention didn't make them something that they were not. We're clear on that. Well, I'm not here giving you some fantasy. You're going to become this person you're not. No, we're not saying that. But it will help you to be better at what you already do, if that makes sense, what God has placed in you. And it may help you to even discover something that's there, which goes back to talking there recently about native abilities. Go check that one out. It got very low views. I think God saw the title and thought, okay, what's this all about? But go check that out. There's actually some good content. Native abilities are those natural talents that God has given you. And so I think retention will help you to utilize and sometimes discover those native or natural abilities that you have. Friedrich Nietzsche was a philosopher who had a very powerful quote on retention. And this is around, I think the quote was from his notes in 1880 to 1881. So you see how this is really, of course, an ancient practice, even going back even further than that to Bible days with some of the patriarchs, people like Joseph, Daniel, and others. So nothing new under the sun. But he had a very powerful quote about his perspective on retention and how it gives a man power. He says, "The reabsorption of semen by the blood is the strongest nourishment, and perhaps more than any other factor, it promotes the stimulus of power, the unrest of all forces toward the overcoming of resistance, the thirst for contradiction and resistance. The feeling of power has so far mounted highest in abstinence of priests and hermits." So this quote is essentially saying something that Steve Jobs said in another way too, how he wanted to hold on to a seed to build power and to build wealth, because he believed that energy would help him to be more effective and productive with work. But here he is saying in his quote that the reabsorption of semen by the blood, is a strong nourishment. So this is a teaching that men have understood for centuries at this point. This is not something that we just kind of just made up on YouTube, you know what I mean, within the last 3 to 5 years. It became popular on YouTube. I'm glad it has, because what it has done on, I'm glad in some cases I'm not glad, because what it has done is given us information which is sacred and powerful to a lot of men. So with the easy access to information is enlightening a lot of men, and that's a positive. The negative is that it brings a lot of scoffers as well. Men who come literally to these videos just to leave weird comments, to say strange things, to mock at it, to scoff at it, because they don't want to even give it a try. So you always have the pros and cons. And so there are those within the community that are await to this journey. There are some who lie and make it something that it's not supposed to be, and it becomes this weird thing that you don't even want to talk about. But nevertheless, that being said, this teaching is nothing new. It's ancient. And so retention is literally an ancient practice and some ancient wisdom that can help you today in 2023. So I think I've kind of shared enough with you for today, for this Friday. Give you something to think about this weekend, because sometimes the tendency for some of you to kind of, get out of control. Some of you men got a couple women in rotation right now. Some of you guys got your phone, you worked all week, so now you're going to be on your phone just scrolling corn. And I hope you hear this, and I want to ruin your weekend. Right? I want you to picture Iron and Soul and shut that stuff down. I want you to stay focused, have a productive weekend, rest, of course, enjoy yourself, have some good food, whatnot, do what you need to do, play video games, that's fine, not wrong, none of that stuff, you know what I mean, to decompress. But with that, don't lose focus over the next 2-3 days of your disciplines. A lot of guys get into trouble on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Monday to Friday, you're working so hard, work can kind of save you. But some of you get loose the weekend. And so I hope that this video will challenge you to stick to your resolves you've already made prior to hearing this. Obviously, some of you already set some goals for yourself of a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day journey. Some a little deeper, 6 months to a year. Some even further, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever it may be. And so I hope that this message will serve as an encouragement for some of you to continue your results. And I hope that it will enlighten some others to begin the journey and say, you know what, man, maybe I should try this, and this can be helpful in my journey of building power and wealth. This is your big brother, Iron and Soul. Thanks for listening. God bless. Peace.